All of a sudden, I'm looking way down the jetty, and I see something floating in the water that's gray. I said, I'll kill myself. If this dog jumped in and drowned, I'm going to commit suicide. There's only so much pain I can take in this life. Well, lo and behold, it was not a dog. It was a soda bottle, I think, floating. I got out my binoculars, and it was not the dog. And I started screaming, Teddy, 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 Teddy. All of a sudden, I hear his bark, like half a mile away. And I get him. I start screaming, get back here, you rascal. And he comes back, running along the jetty, looking like a water rat again. You know, poodles, when they get wet, this one looks like a little bear. I got mad at him this time because I said, you know, you're like a child. I told you not to jump in the bay. I told you not to run after that guy. And he looked at me shaking like he did something wrong. I said, you did do something wrong. I don't care if it's your instinct. It's time you learned something. So I sprayed him with the hose, and he ran away to get the salt off him. Then he went to the cleaner, the martinizing. He's getting martinized in the dog cleaner today. I go out in the street, and my neighbor friend, who's the swimmer, says, you know, your dog jumped in again. I said, I know. What's going on with him? He says, well, do you know what he does? I said, well, I know last year he did the same thing. He says he jumps in. He swims up to me, looks me in the face like to say, are you okay? And then he diagonally swims back to the jetty and runs along the jetty, gets ahead of me and jumps in the water again, comes swim, comes up to my face, looks at me and as if to say, are you okay? Does this for half a mile. He said, well, your dog's amazing. He said, that's some 10-pound poodle boy. He said, I rescued there. They're made for rescuing people. Now I got to talk about Obama and Congress. I don't know what's worse, having to deal with this every day or not having to deal with it every day. It's almost like the Shakespearean dilemma of to be or not to be. I don't know whether I despise going on the radio more than I despise being off the radio, because the news is so horrible. When did you ever think you'd be reading about Mosul again? Mosul. I thought Mosul was over when our boys took Mosul in the Sunni Triangle. When we said, don't you remember what I said in 2002 about those animals in the Sunni Triangle? You don't remember? You think you're going to reason with the animals in the Sunni Triangle? They've been killing people for 1,000 years or more. You're going to have them join a coalition with the people they've been killing for 1,000 years? Are you out of your mind? They're executing prisoners like the Nazis did, and the UN yawns and does nothing and goes out and buys the hookers that they do on the Upper East Side. Don't get me started on the UN. I would turn it into homeless housing. I'd throw everybody out of the UN. I'd give them 24 hours to clear out their desks, and I'd put homeless people in the UN building for as good as they do. Why are they in there? What are they doing for the people being executed in Iraq? Answer, nothing. Nothing. All they do is spend money and run around. So there's a lot of problems right now. And now you have Hillary Clinton, who wants to be president. I'm not going to sit here and bash Hillary. You'd expect me to do that. But I don't believe that this Klein book has any validity whatsoever. That she has a heart condition and this and that. Now, she made a big mistake this week, and she gave an interview with the Guardian newspaper in London, and she was talking about wealth, and she said, we're really not rich, her and her husband. She said, Bill and I aren't truly well off compared to really well off people, not to name names, and we've done it through dint of hard work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's worth over $100 million. She makes $5 million a year, allegedly. Her book advance was 10 or 5. And she says, we're not really that rich because we pay ordinary income tax, unlike a lot of people who are truly well off, not to name names. Well, they're the people that they hang around with. When have you last seen them hang around with a homeless person? Does Bill fly around on a homeless person's push cart that I don't know about? No, Bill flies around on a billionaire's jet, as I would do if I were Bill Clinton. I wouldn't want to be pushed around Manhattan on a rickshaw, would you? And hang out with a homeless person who has lice, would you? No, so it's logical. He's former president. She hangs around with billionaires. What would you do, idiot? So what is she pretending? See, I don't understand this. If I were running for office, I would tell him I'm rich. And the reason I'd say I'm rich is because I'm wealthy, you don't have to worry about me robbing the till. The people you really have to worry about are those who are poor, because once they become leaders, they rob you. If a man goes into office and he has wealth already, there's less to worry about. At least that's how I see it. So I don't think that's a negative that she's hiding her wealth. So there it is. I don't understand this. First of all, I don't think she's electable, if you want to talk about Hillary Clinton. Why? I keep saying it. I don't want to be misogynist or mistaken for a misogynist, just as ISIS is mistaken for Darrell Issa.